I'll begin by the dynamics that are affecting politics in the Arab and Muslim world. And they are pan-Islamism, pan-Arabism, and the centrality of the Palestinian question. Then I will talk a little bit about American foreign policy as it relates to Iraq, follow it with few remarks about the so-called war on terrorism. I'll follow it with Arab perception of certain countries and related groupings, and end it with a sense of empowerment that the Muslims and the Arabs feel. The society in the Arab world, and politically speaking, had many parties that are one of two: either pan-Arabism, emphasizing that which is common within the Arab countries, trying to create unity and social justice, or pan-Islamism, which is a broader, since most Arabs are Muslims, and since even the Christian Arabs' culture is Islamic because it deals with everyday life. Since the 50s, the two movements continued, and recently they converged into one. And I believe the reason for it, the main reason for it, is reaction to American foreign policy the last 8 years. Muslims have much in common, and Islam calls for the Ummah. And every Muslim, every Christian in the Arab and Muslim world identifies with that. The centrality of the Palestinian question, where every Arab, every Muslim sees the injustice that is taking place, and it has been 60 years when the creation of Israel meant taking over 78% of historic Palestine. And after struggle, the Palestinian the Arab took a historic decision toward peace. We will be content, they said, with 22% of historic Palestine, which is the West Bank and Gaza, to create an independent Palestinian state. Israel not in compliance, and the United States support of Israel is clearly there and is affecting the perception and affecting the attitudes of 1.5 billion Arabs and Muslims. As I talk about more recent things than in Iraq and American foreign policy and the reaction to it, I'd like to share with you a letter that was sent by an Arab head of state, very close to America, very supportive of America, and very close to Bush. I was privy to that letter, which was 1 page, and 1 page only. It said, Mr. President, we already told you, do not go into Iraq. And we know you are not going to listen. We know you are doing it. But we want to tell you in advance what you're going to Iraq will do. 1, 2. First is going to stir feelings that have been inhibited, and policy did not encourage it to come out and flourish. Being Sunni and being Shiite, it's going to explode in your face, and you will not be able to control the effect of that. Secondly, you're going into Iraq is going to turn Iran into the major power in the region. Something that some of us Arab leaders do not like to see, and for sure it's going to affect American foreign policy in the region in a manner you cannot control. The second point I wanted to talk about is the so-called war on terrorism, which is a fiction. When you have war on terrorism, you direct it to a region where the people have ultimate enmity and disapproval of things. Everywhere in the Arab world and the Muslim world, Americans are looked upon positively. The only objection has been and continue to be American foreign policy, and mainly as it relates to the central issue, which is Palestine. Now, I'll share with you the perception in the Arab world as it relates to different countries. Iran. Iran is decidedly has a very sympathetic, very empathetic point of view in the Arab world. Not only because they are Muslims, but because their issues are just. Why would America have a campaign not allowing Iran to have nuclear weapon for peaceful means? Why would America does not mention a thing about the nuclear military power of Israel, which is one side of the issue, one side of the equation, and Iran is the other? If the goal is to have a Middle East free of nuclear weapon, then American foreign policy and point of view will be respected. Point of view, perception, as it relates to the United States. So much of it I already expressed or reflected. The other is they look at the superpower in a body of an adolescent. A man who is strong, as you observe human beings, is settled with his strength. A teenager is so curious, is so keen on showing others that he has more power than had before. Finally,